and assassinate the President of the United States, but don't provoke the Russian soldiers. Just now, NATO helicopter, trying to land at a Russian-controlled airport. But the fighting nation didn't get used to him. Not only did they send armored vehicles to catch up, it also releases smoke bombs to interfere with it. I see that he refuses to leave. The Russians turned the muzzle directly. The helicopter just left in dismay. Where did the NATO coalition suffer this loss? Thousands of soldiers came directly to ask for an explanation, attempt to threaten the other party to leave. But how can a fighting nation be so good? Cowardly NATO officers rushed to action. The superior ordered him to return the same way. But how could they give up so easily? Because the NATO alliance has begun to attack Yugoslavia. Leaving hundreds of thousands of iron soldiers on the streets in order to further expand its standing. They desperately need an airport, so they sent more than 300. Attempt to retake the airport. At this time, Russia, the army has only 8 alpha coefficient loudness at the airport. It's hard to get your hands on it. The captain quickly reports to the superior. The Russian Ministry of Defense is informed of the entertainment. Send reinforcements immediately. But because it's a cross-border operation, the duration of the reinforcements march. They can only stop the enemy's attack by themselves. The captain randomly issued a combat readiness order on the necessary road at the airport. They came and fired mines on the front lawn. They put a lot of air shadows and installed detonated mines. Snipers are on the roof. Easy to support the battlefield when everything is ready. But a bicycle arrived. The sniper observed that. It turned out to be a scout sent by the other party. The little boy not only has a sharp face, he even slashed his throat at them. And I left the airport in style, in the face of the shameless acts of terrorists. The Russian army can only use the silence order. Fortunately, the other party did not touch the minefield after the little boy left. The sniper took out a photo of his daughter. I have already remembered the tragedy of this battle. I can't help but cry. Just then, terrorists ride in trucks. Everyone immediately went into battle mode. The terrorists did not attack rashly. Instead, he took a stance at the gate of the airport. Then the army launched an attack in 2 directions. As the terrorists hit the signal, the battle has officially begun. They blew up the Hunter first, sent away a carload of terrorists, and then I gave them another one. Terrorists turned upside down in an instant before the other party can react. PKM General Purpose Machine Gun begins to harvest. Terrorists were instantly beaten and intellectually damaged. Under the blow of heavy vitality, numbers are no longer an advantage, but the boss is not surprised. I have already prepared for the response. But what they didn't expect was, traps have already been laid here. As the engine is triggered, the terrorists were bombed. Instantly swallowed by fire. Got away with it. Finally fell under the sniper's train. As a large number of terrorists fell, the battlefield ushered in a moment of silence. Although they won a short period of practice, but they didn't relax. And the terrorists are attacking as planned. As the leader drove to the terminal, terrorists also launched an attack. And the defenders on the roof got hit for nothing. Power of hand. Other points quickly provide fire support. Terrorists were killed and injured immediately. Snipers also turned their guns. Sent away a man who wanted to brush a rocket. But there were still years when the enemy broke through the defenses. They haven't had time to be happy yet. It was sent to the west by the explosives installed in advance. Alpha coefficient also injured a player. Please give him instructions quickly. The airport at this time. Suddenly, we're in crisis again. However, what they didn't expect was terrorists who can't attack for a long time. He actually set up a disc cannon as shells enter the airport. The situation on the battlefield was reversed in an instant. Several young teammates were injured by artillery shells. A terrorist took the opportunity to infiltrate the airport. Prepare to rush the red arrows at close range. At this time, a few meters were wounded by artillery shells. He's not even close to dying himself. In order not to involve the war, let him evacuate first. However, it didn't take long. He became the enemy of the deer's sacrifice. And the withdrawing team was also infiltrated by terrorists. Brushed a big rocket. Snipers quickly target terrorists. The next time he brushes the rocket, one shot sent him away, but his location has been found out by the boss. The captain quickly reminded him, but when he turned the gun, it's too late. As the sea bubbles continue to bomb, defense has become more difficult. The Slavic knows nothing about exhaust running. all of them will be buried. So he ran to the tanker truck, charged towards the enemy under intense artillery fire, and the terrorist understood his intentions. Start activating him. The captain saw this and quickly suppressed the fire. Finally, the Slavs detonated the tanker, successfully destroyed the enemy's exhaust gun position. The battle continued until dawn, although there are not many terrorists left. But the team is not only injured, but almost exhausted. And it gets worse. Andre is retreating, fell to the ground after being witnessed by the other party. In this moment of crisis, the teammate gave the opponent a big rocket, but it also aroused the other party's chest shake, led the crowd to launch another attack. To cover the retreat of teammates, the captain went to pick up the car. As they fought, they retreated to the car. After the captain rescued Andre into the car, throw the last grenade. Start evacuating to the tower. And deeply affected, injured players who didn't have time to evacuate, sent away directly by the leader. Another seriously injured team member saw, trying hard to stand up and avenge my teammates, and the small meeting that successfully retreated into the tower, already in a desperate situation. They can't wait for reinforcements. Watching the terrorists slowly approaching, the captain raised his gun and pointed it at his team. This was their original agreement. I won't let my own people become clouds. Just as the captain was about to expand the trigger, terrorists suddenly start to break through. It's like seeing something scarier than them. The team stopped the captain when they saw this. It turned out that the reinforcements finally arrived, and they can finally be delivered together. Seeing the tide is gone, the ringleader prepares to flee by car, but was sealed with a knife. With a large number of Russian military missions, the airport was also successfully guarded, and the Alpha coefficient survives the enjoyment, but quietly left. When NATO, the Allied army, has once again come to accept the mission of the airport, they were still greeted by Russian soldiers. However, with the bombing of Northern Europe, not only did Nasrafi lose countless lives, and let countless people live on the streets, it allowed the alliance to disintegrate into multiple countries. And what's even more outrageous is, NATO also bombed our major cities in Yugoslavia. 3 journalists were killed. So far, NATO has not made a reasonable statement. Or is love right? Dignity exists on the blade. The truth lies only within the Cannon City.